I don't even know if we could totally be live right now. I just have no idea. Live stream. Yep, no, we are live. Let me get my life together real quick. Cool. So I'll hop into this. Let's find a Bitcoin chart. Wow. Price really got beat down here. So what was important? This actually happened right before I went out for lunch. But huge pump, large candle spread. We're actually dumping now, so I kind of need to do this analysis quickly. Pumped. The spread here is $282. If you look at the whole candle, this was a $427 move on BitMEX. Decent long opportunity here. Something I posted on the channel where you have this. I mean, you had this div, you had volume divs. Pretty much everything was saying buy right here. And that's what caused this large pump. A lot of demand came in. Or I'm not going to say that's what caused it, but that's what you can use to find where that pump is going to occur. These are kind of like my general levels, but I don't really want to. Oh, we broke this weekly support. That's interesting. I don't want to use this chart. I need a fresh chart. And not only that, I kind of want an unbiased charts. Not only do I want it fresh, I want different exchanges. So I'll use Bitfinex, Coinbase, Bitstamp, and I'll throw Binance Tether on there because apparently there's a lot of volume on that pair. A lot of people are on Binance trading in and out of Tether. So if we're going to look at support here, let's see, what's a good level? See if we can find this. I'm trying to get a lot of interaction with all these different levels. I like here. I think that works. This line or this line could work equally well. I'll just go ahead and throw it here. Actually, just because, let me just make sure that candle closed above here. Let's see, the close of this candle is 6146.2, the 6145.7. Yeah, so this is good. Good support line. You see support here. Very brief support here. It held up that whole wick. Resistance here. Support here. And this was the last point of support before we took off for whatever this is. 8.4, almost 8.5K. So that's why I like this line. I think that line makes sense. We'll use that line. Support, we got a brief bounce here. And this is actually interesting because if you look on other exchanges, this wick right here, this is my first time seeing this wick. That wick doesn't exist. It exists, but it doesn't clear. It doesn't clear this low. But when you average together, what did we average together? I think it was like Bitstamp, BitMEX, Coinbase, and Binance. You actually do clear this wick, and that's important. I'll tell you why. Because for me, a valid tweezer bottoms is when the wick of the second candle is unable to clear the wick of the candle that came before it. So let me see if I can find a good example on another exchange. Was it on? Or maybe that wick does exist. Maybe I'm tripping. I could have totally made that up. But I feel like, all right, I'm just going to keep doing the analysis. And then if I see what I was talking about earlier, I'll point it out. Ignore what I just said for the past like 2 minutes. But yeah, I wouldn't consider this a valid tweezer bottoms. That part is still valid. And that's because this wick cleared this wick. Ideally for tweezer bottoms, the sentiment that I want the candles to display is that you had a wick on one candle and then the next candle tried to trade as low as it but couldn't. Demand stepped in before it made a new low. And here you see this daily low is lower than this daily low. And so I wouldn't consider that tweezer bottoms because we were able to push price down. I wouldn't consider this an inverted shooting star. I think, no. Fuck, what do you call this? An inverted hanging man, I think. Basically the opposite of a hanging man, where a hanging man will happen at the top of a trend. You'll have a body and a long lower wick. It shows selling pressure coming in and bulls having to fight harder to keep price up. That's what this kind of means. Downtrend, body, long upper wick, definitely more than twice the body of the candle, showing that buyers are stepping in and bears are having to fight harder to keep price down. But I don't think that's the case just because, actually, I'm not going to say it's not the case. Usually there's a gap down. Let me see. Images, inverted hanging man. Oh, inverted hammer. So it's called inverted hammer. So it'll look like this. You see there's like a gap down and then this wick up. There's not really gaps in crypto because it trades 24/7. But this is like the idea of it. Find another good example. Those were two great examples. Here's a decent one. It's not so extreme, you know, down move. This is actually kind of like tweezer bottoms too, if you really want to just look at the wicks. But the bodies don't look that traditional. But yeah, so I mean, you kind of have like an inverted hanging man. The thing that I think, let's see if there's a chart that shows it the way that they should. I don't think there's a good chart for it. But with any candle, the thing that makes it valid is the volume. There's not a shit ton of volume here. It's respectable. It's above this moving average, but it's not really eclipsing the selling. And so that's not telling me the buyers are really too serious about what they're doing here. And so when we zoom in, we're going to look to see how the market reacts to this level, and see if the bears can take this low. Right now, we did have this little dump right here on very like shitty volume. So it kind of looks like a retrace. And a retrace kind of perfectly to the 61.8 that a lot of traders like to use. And so maybe you want to zoom into the 1 hour. 1 hour's not closing soon enough. 15 minutes closes in about 3 minutes. You had, you know, decent little sell off here, but it wasn't, I don't know. Now you have kind of like this div. You might want to go long. So if you did want to go long, purely off this fib level, purely off this area of consolidation being support and this area, you know, turning into support, you know, not considering we're in a bear market, not considering volume isn't that crazy, whatever, for the bullish case, you know, you can go long at the close of this candle, put your price under here, really, and this is still good. It gives you less than 3%, because if price breaks here and breaks this consolidation, we're for sure going down. and then maybe attack. I mean, you expect price to make a higher high, but at the very least, you want to attack those lows right there. Let me see. And put your stop there. I think this makes sense. Let's see. And then you put a line here where this is support and you're looking to try and attack that level. I think this is a decent long opportunity. Granted, this wick is starting to get eaten up. Buyers look like they're stepping in. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see how all of this ends up finishing. The 4 hour doesn't look extremely bearish right now. Definitely looks like some type of retest. That being said, it didn't really clear this low, right? If it was trying to look to do a stop run, that didn't really happen. I really don't know what it gained from dipping this far, what that correction did, but I mean, we'll see if it bounces here. Well, that was the 1 hour. This is the 4 hour. So yeah, we'll see that. This candle inside bar, which basically means you had this candle. That was the top. That was the bottom. And this whole candle right here was pretty much contained inside the previous candle. Right, that's all that means. Which isn't like extremely bullish, right? That lets you know, okay, the bears really weren't doing that much. I do want to zoom out though. I think this is important. Just daily level, see how this holds up. So basically, let me zoom back in. So basically, need to mark this level. That was the high of the pump. High of daily up candle. Cool. All right, now let's zoom in. So that's the high of the daily up candle. Basically, you want to see for a bullish scenario, and this is when I might consider like closing some longs or some shorts. The bullish scenario is that this holds up. It forms a higher low, breaks, makes a higher high. Granted, not that high, but you know, it clears this area and then comes back down to support. So higher low, higher high, resistance, support. That's the bullish case. I'm actually interested to see where this higher low is being formed. I had a chart on Twitter. It was like a 15-minute order block. I think it was here. So let me mark this out. I have no idea if we stopped there or not. Oh, we actually kind of wicked below it. But this is where I thought would be a good place to go long. If you were looking for one of the more bullish scenarios. Seemed to have a nice tap of it. It was a little low, but whatever. Ideally, this doesn't stop you out. Hopefully. This stands up, makes a higher low, and then we pump, break this high, make a higher high. And that will show me the trend, at least in the short term, is shifting, or rather we're experiencing different behavior, because right now it's all bears. The other case was we break this high immediately. It's kind of the same thing though. Break the high, flip it to support, keep going. That's clearly not happening. So yeah, pretty much this higher low has to hold. And if bulls give this level away and bears take it, I mean, at the very least, we're looking at 5 point 5.8-ish range. This order block right here, this 4-hour one that held up price beautifully. We talked about it yesterday. Boom, boom. Right. If this level doesn't hold, then we're tapping here, pretty much. That's what we're looking at. And if that level doesn't hold, shit. I mean, we could find support somewhere in here. It just depends. That's pretty much what we're looking at. I mean, it's not too complicated. This is support. I don't know if this is resistance. We could. Oh, can you not extend lines left on this? Whatever. I'm just gonna redraw this, extend it left. High of daily up candle. Yes, I mean, this is some, you know, little support here, a little resistance. Get some reactions out this line right here. Oh, shit. Look at that. Holds up price really well. Yes, I mean, this line is important. It's way more important than I thought it would be, actually. Trying to see what this looks like. Yeah. But yeah, so basically we want to break this high. And I guess it's kind of resistance too, but want to do that. And that's pretty much where we're at. We did know this was going to dump though. This is hindsight, but well, it's not hindsight because I tweeted about it before it happened. We did have this div, this hidden bear div right there. That could have been an opportunity to short. We also have RSI. I think it showed up on RSI. Yep. So we had this hidden bear div. If you're not familiar with those, price oscillator divergence. Oh shit. Types of. Which one do I think is just the easiest to look at? This one. If you're not familiar with this chart, top is price, bottom is the oscillator. Get real familiar with this. It's just so simple. Divs at support and resistance levels just are free money. But yes, that's where we're at. I'm low-key starting to think of a Wyckoff range right here with this preliminary support. Solid climax, automatic rally, strength, or secondary test. That's what it just looks like to me, but we'll see. Let's see if we zoom out. Are there any interesting divs? RSI is pretty much at this support level right here. No divs there. At the bottom of the daily band, which I think is why we keep bouncing up, because this hasn't started curving down. So it's just a lot of room to, like, the top band is just way up here. The top band's at, top band's at 90.26. Way up here. It's like $3,000 up. And you see during downtrends, like both the top and bottom band are sloped down. Right now, we had this large expansion downward, but we definitely need to consolidate and just go sideways for a good amount of time. Because this band, like, if we're going to continue downward, this band has to come up or come down. And even if we go up, like, the band still has to, like, come down eventually. Right now, it's still expanding, right? When the bands shoot in opposite directions like this, when this one just shoots up and this one shoots down, that essentially just means like there's expansion in one of the directions. In this case, it's downwards. So if the bands are still like separated like that, that lets me know the expansion is still continuing. You can kind of look at Hank and Ashes if you want, just straight down. And so we kind of want to wait for the bands to you know, compress a little bit. You know, the EMAs we use here, 1226, pretty much have held up, or I guess held price down, but they've held up as in they've been working consistently the way we expect them to, holding price down the 4 hour. Boom, 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 boom. And then again, another easy short opportunity here. But we are getting some fight from the bulls right here. I don't know if you zoom in if there's any type of divergence occurring. None that I see that are noteworthy, and I think this one's too long. Yeah, 30 bars. No, it's too long, so that doesn't work. 4 hour bands actually would be interesting to look at. So, let's see. Slight rejection of the median line up here. Closed above it, couldn't hold it. Now we're dumping. Bottom bands at 60.31 on the 4 hour, which would be where previous support was. Kind of have to see how that holds up. Not looking too hopeful at the moment. I kind of want to move my stop down too. I've been moving my stop down slowly just based off like the highs that have been made on high time frames. So here, this dump happened, this pump. So then move my stop here. And so now this pump happens. And now I'm trying to move my stop down about $150. I'm short from 7,500. Y'all were wondering. I'm short. Was it this wick? Was it this wick? I think it's this wick. I don't know why. Again, I'm so upset for myself for not catching this move, but I'm short from here, and so I have this right now. Looking to probably try and put my stop somewhere around here. Yeah, I mean, pretty much I'm just gonna hold the short until I get stopped out or until some bullshit happens. I don't see any bullish pressure. Like it just doesn't exist. Let's see. And if you're unfamiliar, let me mark these levels out so you know what I'm looking at. Current support. Because I just noticed all these lines just kind of look like, why hasn't he deleted these? Next support level. Oops. Cool. So yeah, this is what we're looking at. Let me see actually if I can. I've never labeled my chart like this. This is kind of useful. And then put it on the bottom. Break this to form higher high. Shift trend. I don't really need that. Break this to shift short-term trend. I'll say short mid, maybe short mid. Yeah, this makes sense. Oh yeah, this is such a dope way to like label your charts. I basically just put two lines on top of each other. So yeah. So I mean, this is what we're looking at, and this is why I have these levels marked out. Current support. I'll specify SR because it's not a zone. Next support zone. high resistance, need to break it to change the trend. Cool. Other things we're looking at, of course, the guppy down, bearish on the 4 hour all the way. Again, every time the guppy turns gray, the short-term EMAs, low time frame EMAs. Did I say short, low time frame? I guess the fast ones, the best way to say it, have been great short opportunities. So here we got a 4 hour candle close, turn gray, good short op. Excuse me. Daily. Yeah, the fast EMAs they're fucking ridiculous. They're way too decompressed. Probably gonna get a retrace whenever like something like that happens. Especially since the slow EMAs are still trying to catch up. So probably get a retrace up a little bit. I don't know how far. No really way to tell. You just have to look at SR levels. But I do expect a retrace, even though I am bearish on this time frame. This sell wave is just huge. It's just, man, this is the most cumulative volume for any one move since we ran up to 20K. Like, that's interesting. The bullish responses have been very poor, have provided very good short opportunities since we started this down move. Excuse me. This sell wave is not as strong as this one, so you created this div, which is why we popped up. And why it looks like bears or bulls are defending this low right here. Something I guess we'll look at that I don't not last thing, but here's something. Look at the volume profile. Because, we're trying to figure out, okay, if this support breaks, what's next? If this green level breaks, we can find support immediately under it right here at about 5.7. Somewhere around here. If that breaks, oh, I don't know, man. We're looking at here, maybe. I kind of like that. Well, yeah. 5.8 and or 5.7 and 4.8. Only places I think might hold a support might be decent. If this green level doesn't hold. I don't even know if we tapped it here if I extend this left. No, we didn't. The close of the lowest candle 59.30. Oh, we did tap it. Yeah, so we tapped into the zone a little bit. So, I mean, it's held. Tap once. Barely consider that. Didn't touch any real demand. Here, came in here, demand. Boop, came in here, demand. Haven't touched it again. Will be interesting to see how we react to that level. Areas of support. Cool. Last thing. Look at the cloud. I don't typically look at the cloud. But we do this about every 2 videos just to see what's going on with it. Keltner channels are interesting too if you don't use them. Basically, this just means we're overbought. This means we're oversold. The standard deviations don't work like the Bollinger Bands. When we're inside of them, that's normal. And then any break below them would be like, or above would be an immediate like buy or sell signal just because of how they're calculated. And so if you look at them, we're on the 12 hour, these actually will provide great signals, even if you just bought the closes of the 12 hour. So here, buy it. You literally never would have been out of profit as far as like the candle closes are concerned. right? And then as soon as we break below it, maybe you think we bounce here, but yeah, short here, right? And then have a stop somewhere, meaningful. You never would have been stopped out, and we would have just kept with this trend. We never closed above it, and then maybe once you close above it once, then you close your short, and then you look for the next close above it. Boom, would have been stopped out. Boom, profit. Boom, So it just depends. But I don't know. I was just scrolling by and I saw that. Decided to point it out. Read up on them yourselves. Figure out your own strategy. Where the fuck is the... Okay. Weekly cloud. This thing is hideous. Bearish cloud on the weekly looking bearish, turning bearish on December 10th. Not good. 3-day. Which I actually need to look at the 3-day. See, this is a tweezer bottom right here, where this wick does not clear this wick, and the demand pushes it up. Okay, cool. Which is like not what I see here, but it's subjective. All this is bearish, flat cloud. So the reason why flat clouds, and I asked Carpe Noctem this on Twitter like months ago, why is the flat cloud a magnet? And that's because it's typically a 50% retracement of a move. And as you know on this channel, like 50% retracements are something that I like a lot. And that's my most preferred fib to trade, even though it's not even a real fib. But if you look at this, yes, it's a 50% retracement, or it's going to be approximately a 50% retracement of this move. Maybe if you could find a top to make it about 50%, but I wouldn't consider this a magnet. I mean, you're on the 3-day, so you have to be like, okay, I plan on holding for a long time because eventually we're going to hit the top of this because it's flat and it's about a 50% retracement of this move. But I wouldn't consider that, because we're on the 3-day, to be indicative of what's going to happen in the next couple of days, or then even the next couple of weeks, right? The 3-day is a very large time frame where only 10 of those candles is a whole month. So I would caution you to thinking like that, but do understand like that's the rationale behind it, and it's very valid. 1 day, again, all bearish, flat. This was previous support. Of course, you want to test previous support as resistance, but I don't know if we're going to come all the way up there. Kijun flat. Again, the only reason I'm pointing out the flat is not because I care about it, but because a lot of people will look and be like, oh, it's flat, we're going to go up to it, which isn't like 100% true the way that you're probably thinking of it. 12 hours bearish. Clouds even about to turn bearish. All signs bearish. 4 hour, all this is bearish. We might retrace up here to 6.8. It's previous support, treat as resistance. It's resistance here too. I don't know if it'll happen, but if you want to use this as a target, go ahead. Do understand this Kijun actually isn't flat anymore. It hasn't been flat for that long. It was only flat for about 4 or 5 4-hour candles, about a day and some change. And it's actually sloping downward, which lets you know momentum's heading downward as well. Couldn't close above the Tenkin. You see that here. So that's interesting. We've actually been below the Tenkin this whole time. One time we tried to close above it, couldn't hold it. So we'll see what that means for the future. And that's pretty much it. Not too much to say. If you want a cool pitchfork or something to help you guide the trend, this top, this bottom, and then this top before the dump. The extension I have it on the extension I have on it is the 1.618 fib extension. I think it catches this foolishness well, and I think it catches some of these oversold moments pretty well where we get this bounce. I think the median line has served as solid resistance or just like a pivot area, right? So support here, dumped. Brief resistance here, close above it, support, Boom. And now it's been resistance again. And that's kind of what you want to see in your pitchfork. I think if you zoom out to the daily, it doesn't look so pretty though, which is like trash. Yeah, it looks better on intraday time frames. I'm trying to think what else is notable. I showed you the bullish scenario. We basically have to clear this high. Um, let's see. This might be some type of swing low. If there's a higher low here, a low, and then forms a higher low over here, might be interesting to watch. I don't know what targets that would give, but volume from the bulls is still unimpressive. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Only other thing I could think of is going through charts that I posted to see if anything's interesting. No. No. Oh, this. I love this chart. GAN again, hasn't closed over the 1/1 line. It hasn't touched it. So, I mean, we're still expecting to remain short as long as we're below this line. This is a 4-hour order block. I mean, that's pretty much it. So, I will talk to you all later.